So we went from having a meh main event to a what the fuck WWE main event because it was already strange enough as it is to have Wyatt lose. Then they went ahead and made Orton a grandiose arsonist murderer because Orton has a thing for that. Because this is like what the 3, 4, 5, like what the sixth time he's committed arson or attempted murder. Well, actually, for the murder part, he's probably done it 10 times. Hello, everyone. Okay, so we just got off of TLC. We all just got off. We need to keep our heads. And I need to talk about this ending because, oh my god. So, yeah, I get the feeling I know where they're going with this. So, Orton had just, as I have eloquently put it, murdered Bray Wyatt on live television in the entire viewing world on pay per view on the final day of the year, of the final month of the year, because we need to sum up 2020 in some way. Uh, so this is what I was thinking. So after this bombastic ending we just did, is WWE doing what the network demanded? Because it was reported just after Raw went off the air and the viewership came in, the USA Network was reportedly furious at the numbers they got and said, look, USA said, look, you gotta go ahead and give us our cut. We need edgy content. We need adult content to bring up the viewers back. We need to win the back. You need to win the fans back, or we're gonna drop you. We may have a deal with NXT and trying to burn that down, with AEW and trying to burn that down. But the Raw is not NXT and it's not going up against AEW. So you guys gotta go ahead and give us some of that adult content. So they weren't asking for the sexy content, or else they would have just gotten RVD on the phone and did his continued love, his open romance stuff he's doing that he was doing on Impact Wrestling before they got kicked off of Twitch, and then they had to come back, and or RVD left. And that was an awkward day, I think. So yeah, they had to do so. It was that so they had to, and like, who's the one guy you can think of in WWE that can go ahead and give fans and the company the dark and violent content? It has to be Wyatt. It really has to be Wyatt that does the dark and violent art of wrestling. Because let's be real, White is pretty much the last of the few remaining stars that have been able to transform them into the darker, violent, more grotesque visual style that wrestling can have in the WWE. Like, The Undertaker's retired, so he can't, and WWE embraced the PG era, which now it looks like they're gonna have to get out of that a little bit just to get this angle going. And they were like, okay, so essentially what I said was that they essentially gave Wyatt, after this ending that proves it, they gave Wyatt the keys to the kingdom of Monday Night Raw to say, okay, Wyatt, we let you push the envelope as much as we can under PG restrictions. Okay, go all out. And they were, and I don't be surprised if it comes out that the plan for this idea was originally going to have Orton lose the match. Like, he gets his shirt burned because he had to been wearing that shirt for a reason, the hoodie, because when Wyatt got set on fire, it was just the back of his shirt. It wasn't a flesh part. So, yeah, they go ahead and have Orton RKO him while on fire because, of course, then Orton, realizing what he's become, only digs deeper. This is like what they were trying to do with Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt in that Hell in a Cell event, except there's just one major problem. It was a Hell in a Cell match, and the object was to beat your opponent within an inch of their life, because that's what Hell in a Cell stood for fans. Then they ruined it. Whereas this is like, okay, we got to do something that Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt did, but we got to do it actually right. And Bray Wyatt was probably the director of this and was like, no, we need murder. Wyatt, we don't really have the budget for that, mostly because we'll be turned off the air. Murder. I don't think that's really how we should do this. I'm like, the USA Network's gonna be what? Oh, they approved. Okay, you can do it. And Wyatt was like, set me on fire and everything. It's just, oh my god, I couldn't believe they really went there after all this time. Like, we seen the violence, we seen the dark content that they can give out on a PG level, but this was like they did like do an angle where, oh, the guy goes ahead, small, it gets a small little fire on them on protected gear, and the fire extinguishers blowing stuff out. Oh, okay, fine. No, no, this was Orton holding the match, looking at it, contemplating, then dropping it, and we see the full totality of Wyatt's gear being burned and his flesh being burned on live TV, on pay-per-view, on the network. And please note, they still try to say this is for kids. But remember that comment Vince made a year or so ago where he said we will never go back to that blood and guts crap, as he called it? And AEW took that as a trademark, and we went ahead and ran with it. So, yeah. Vince, you really want to speak about violence? Because you just had a guy get murdered on television by a guy who's repeatedly tried and murdered people on multiple occasions. In fact, isn't The Undertaker on a death count since he killed Muhammad Hassan and they never brought him back? I mean, like, they did say he was taken to the hospital, but he never did return, so they could easily interpret that as he died in the hospital. Yeah, I'm freaking dark. So, yeah, Wyatt was murdered on TLC, and oh god. It's like, now it's like, okay, we got the we got the gears rolling where we could take this, but now we were like, are they embracing violence? Are they embracing TV 14 content on their show on Monday Night Raw specifically? SmackDown could probably still be PG content with Roman doing all his stuff because he's pretty much the only thing carrying SmackDown, whereas Wyatt is pretty much now going to be carrying Raw. I mean, if you count Drew McIntyre, like I said this, the only people I seem to hear the general consensus of that is carrying the WWE are Roman, Sasha, Bayley, who are all on SmackDown. The others are Drew McIntyre, Bray Wyatt, and anybody that works with them. So, yeah. At this point, at least. A while back, it was a little bit different, but it was still kind of the same amount of people, I think. Yeah, so Wyatt ends the year off holding the Universal title high up into the air with his face on it, then loses to someone who was selfish into his personal greed over business, charity excuses to use his charity image to win a match, because that's what a superhero does, cheat. Then goes ahead and murders John Cena by transporting him to an interdimensional universe where he'll probably never be seen again, because that would make sense. And probably is being forever psychologically tortured at the hands of Wyatt and all his Firefly Funhouse buddies. To end the year off with indoctrinating Alexa Bliss after multiple attempts of murder, trying to suffocate her to death, indoctrinates her into his ideology, and now gets burned alive, unconscious, by the man who ruined his first title run as the world champ. And now it's like, well, Orton's probably a dead man walking. Like, there's no way this is going to end with Wyatt losing the entire feud. Like, this looked like this was the attempt they should have done with House of Horrors, except at the time there was no such thing as The Fiend other than in a Ghost Story promo that was on YouTube. But this led to me thinking, so is this now becoming a oh man. So here's the thing: is this becoming an angle where they're going to go ahead and essentially push Wyatt to a level where he is pretty much running Raw, turn Raw into the Wyattverse? because that would be insane. Honestly, that would be insane if they turned Raw into the Wyattverse party. Like they were like there was an idea I think a long time ago with Raven when he was in WWE back in the Ruthless Aggression era, where he was told, "Look, we need to boost up heat on TV on Sunday nights. So Raven, can you do this angle where you're pretty much turning heat into your own personal playground?" But that never really materialized. It just stopped. It wasn't popular enough. Um, but then like you saw this angle be made tonight. I'm pretty certain that's what they're gonna go with. That Raw is now going to become the Wyattverse. It's gonna be Wyatt's playground. He's gonna run everything. He's gonna control everything. Because if you notice anything when it comes to Wyatt, he is not the stable guy of the bunch when it comes to the dark and twisted storytelling. Because Wyndham Rotunda is a great writer at this, I think, at this point. Like a lot, like this all feels like it's 100% Wyatt now. But yeah. So yeah, Wyatt is running Raw. I get the feeling he's going to run Raw into 2021. He's going to run WWE Monday Night Raw now in 2021, as this is his Wyattverse now, because after this, you have to think they're going to do something. He just main evented TLC, and now he's going to murder probably Orton in the most ruthless way possible, and I'm going to love it if they go that route, because WWE was told by USA, go ahead and do whatever you want. Violent, dark. We don't want sex because we need to think about the children or some bullshit. But violent, murder, all that, oh, that's perfectly all right. In fact, burn someone alive if you have to. And why it's probably in the back when he heard this is like, why is he laughing? Hey, well, you just gave the guy the keys to basically run Raw. Like, he's the only guy here that really likes to do consistent, edgy content. Oh. Would you like to be head of creative? Because, let's be real, I would honestly like that. But, yeah, Wyatt is going to probably run Monday Night Raw in 2021. And if they do that, I'm going to love it. He's going to turn Raw into his personal playground, to bring in the darkness. It's like he's going to reign terror. And honestly, I hope this gets him another world title run. Especially with the belt he never should have lost until late 2017 to AJ Styles, which would have made sense. But it's going to be an exciting time. I just know it. We'll have to see where this goes. I'm going to see where this goes. I'm probably not gonna watch Raw because it's 3 hours of exhausting content. I don't think they can do that. If they go back to 2 hours, like I'll probably just watch only Wyatt stuff or the highlights. But this will be interesting to monitor and watch over, because the Wyattverse is now going to fully reign the once former A-Show back to glory on Monday Night Raw in 2021. Man, it's insane, everyone. It's gonna be insane, and this was a very dark ending. Like, oh god, I'm surprised Alexa Bliss wasn't involved. But this was Near Reality, the WrestleVerse, presenting is WWE Raw becoming the WrestleVerse, is becoming the Wyattverse. We'll have to see. If you really like, comment, subscribe, check out my other YouTube channels in the description and the video, and type in the name in the search bar. Or feel free to like, comment, subscribe, check things out, check out my other videos. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see y'all next time. We'll see what goes down on Monday Night Raw. Take care.